welcome back to hour 3 of our NIL workshop here. So we want this to obviously be the workshop part of it. So questions, thoughts. If you're on live and have a question, you can shoot it in the chat box, or you can say, hey, we'd love to come on. We'll pull you on. We'll make you a panelist. You can ask the question directly. We can have up to 15 minutes with you. I also have a bunch of questions that I got through my social media throughout yesterday. Basically, I put up a poll within it. So Tim and I are both on here to answer questions. Tim, are you there? I think maybe you're off camera, but pop on.
I'm here.
Start with first question with you, because I see one of my guys is calling us, or our guys, but I got to pick it up. So first question I got, best way to reach out to a brand.
Best way to reach out to a brand. So I talked about this earlier, if you caught it. If not, I'll run through that again. So DMs and emails work. Both of them do. I said if it's a bigger company, whether it's national, global brand, I would suggest emails. And generally speaking, it's going to be the person in the marketing department, and the director of marketing seems to be the right point of contact for them. So you can do a quick Google search and look for, Google the company, director of marketing, even put in LinkedIn in there, and then it'll pop that up. You can reach out to that person. Also, DMs do work. So generally speaking, smaller companies, whether it's local or nationwide, smaller companies, you can shoot a DM and just say, hey, I'm ex-athlete at this school. Love your product, love your service, love whatever they provide. Be very specific in your DM, and then ask for the right person to connect with. So you'll usually get an email address, but sometimes they'll give you a phone number and email address and the right person to connect with. So that would be my suggestion as far as like how to reach out to brand, best way to reach out to brands. And then the last part of that is be relentless. So don't just do it once, do it 4 times, do it 5 times, do it until you get an answer. Basically, if you like the brand enough, you want to work with them, you'll do it until you get the answer. But I guess I should reiterate that too, is like the most important thing you want to do is get on a call with somebody, because once you get on a call with someone, it's easier to familiarize yourself with them. They can learn your personality. They can establish a relationship with you, but then you can also discuss like, here's some ideas I have. Here's the value I can provide. And then you can discuss budgets and deliverables and all that fun stuff. Pat, do you have question number 2?
All right, Tim, I'm back. So
nice.
Yeah, that was, as I said, our guy had to quickly get to that one. So here's a question, probably with me. This is, what can help your NIL grow? Now, I don't know exactly what this means, if they're referring to like your dollar amounts or your following or what, but I would take it in both directions. So, what can help your following grow is one. The first thing I'm going to start asking everyone, I just thought about this the other day, is like, if you're asking me how do I grow, the first thing I'm going to say is, how many reels have you made on IG this month, or how many TikToks have you done on TikTok? And if the answer is 0, well, that's step 1, is let's start doing those, and then figure out direction and strategy and all that. But if you're not at minimal creating, like if you're on IG and you're not creating reels, you're not doing what you can do to grow, period. Point blank simple. It's the IG is telling us, and everything that they say and do is like, to succeed on our platform, be creating reels. So that is step 1. And this question was through IG, so I know this person was on IG. As far as like, if they meant like, how do I grow my dollar amounts? Well, first part is grow your following, grow your audience, get people to invest in the things you're doing, and like care when you post about a product or a thing. And then be able to go back to them and charge more and do more and be a part of projects that do well. So if they're paying you, like we talked about with Mick last hour, if they're paying you $500 to do a deal and it doesn't go well, they're not going to pay you again. But if you pay you $500, maybe it does do well. Maybe they want to do more of a long-term thing and you're getting 2,000 total, whatever those numbers are. So when you do things, do it intentionally and put in good effort. And when it's not a paid thing like that, be putting out consistent content. And if it's on IG, it damn sure needs to be on a reels instead of just photos occasionally. There's so many people I see, they post photos like every day. And then they're like, why am I not growing? Because you're not, IG is telling us how to win on IG and you're not doing that. So turn those photos into reels, basic things like that. But I think that answers that question. This one, probably a Tim question here. advice for small businesses with little money to offer athletes up front. So how can a small business who can't be like, yo, here's 10K to do a deal. How can they offer, what can they do to be able to work with athletes without having a bunch to offer up front?
Yeah. And, we work with small businesses, we work with large businesses. I think small budgets is a relative term. So we don't, that small budgets could mean $10 million if you're talking to Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
But I would say this is like, find athletes that actually align. Maybe their athletes are coming in the store. Maybe they're using your product already. Find the ones that already align. They might be a backup offensive lineman and he might have 5,000 followers, but there's the alignment already. And then offer them a small monthly as well as some kind of commission based, right? So you could do something that's like $500 a month over the entire school year. So you're looking at 9 to 12 months. And then it's maybe a percentage commission off of whatever else they bring in, whether you're selling online or you're bringing someone in store and you can track it. So while it is $500 a month, you could increase that to a $6,000 deal over the term and then also a commission. So yes, it's a small deal, but it's very respectable offer for someone of your size as well as somebody of the athlete size and following like that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was going to take it too. Is like, do something where it doesn't need to be $1 million up front, but it can be something that at least, motivates the athlete to do something that can maybe be more of a longer term than just a one-off. A year is great, but that, maybe it's tough for them to invest that too. And then do some sort of percentage. There are other things that you could do is have them do appearances, maybe pay them to be there, and then you pay them that $500 and they're there. But then what they're doing is they're signing autographs or taking selfies or doing a giveaway at the store or whatever. And you're getting these other people in. So immediately you're able to drive revenue, hopefully, right? They get them in the store, the people buy, other shirts, or then they're in the restaurant for the autographs and the pictures, but then they're buying drinks and desserts and all that stuff. So I think that's like a good way to invest in the athlete and pay them, compensate them for their time, and then also being able to get eyeballs in, but then immediately drive revenue today.
Yeah. Another thing that I've seen too that could work in that scenario that I haven't seen a whole lot of brands do. One of them that we work with does this, is pay them. Now you have your standard pay for commission, right? So like someone goes to the site, makes a purchase, that athlete or influencer gets a kickback of that. Now there's a different version of that at performance based where they get paid per like of the post, right? So if it's a promotion that's specific for that brand, they pay a certain set fee for how many likes it is. So it might be $8 for 1,000 likes. Yes, exactly. And so it's not necessarily performance driven, but it's eyeball driven, and you can cap that too, like $500, $1,000, where it's performance based too.
Yeah, it is performance based, but it's not like just percentage of sales based.
Right.
Yeah. All right. How many brands should I work with? I'll start. You can elaborate if you like, but there's not like a set, I would say. But if it becomes you're just selling us stuff, like why the hell are we following you if we're just being sold stuff every day? Like, this is my biggest pet peeve around big drafts. NBA, NFL are the worst. Top picks just sell you on BS for 2 days straight. I saw a guy this year, it was like 9 of 10 posts in a like 18-hour window, top NBA guy. And it was ads. And it was like, what am I following this person for? And then if I'm a fan, because I'm a fan of X team that he just got drafted to, like, I go to follow him or I go to look at his IG, and then all of a sudden it's just ad. I don't know. Like, what's the point of following this person? So that drives me nuts. And that's obviously around like big events. But I know there's one kid who talks about how he's had 50 NIL deals. That's not something I would be promoting. I know if he calls himself the king of NIL. I've talked to him a little bit in the DMs. But I just, as I said this to him too, is like, he's not making a ton of money per deal. I know that. I think he's talked about that publicly. But if you worked with, let's say, half of that even, but did a really good job with those companies, they'd probably want to re-up and do more. If you've done 50 deals in a year like this athlete has, that means at least once a week, you're selling me on something, right? And I don't know how many posts that he does that aren't that, but that's too often. That's too many. if it's, 1, that's cool. If it's up to 10, you're probably even cool. You just don't want to be constantly selling people.
I think that if you're in this case, yes, but if it's a once per week selling and you're posting 5 times a week, I don't think that's a bad thing if it's consistent brands. If it's 50 different brands, then no. If it's a brand you like believe in, if you're like, I'm Nike all day, every day, this is the brand I believe in, and you're posting that once a week, I think that's respectable.
No, yeah, once a week, or even
Yeah.
even 3 times a week, you can post an ad sometimes. But like, don't make everything the ads.
Yeah.
It just becomes annoying. Like, no, we just scroll by when you're just selling us shit. We're just scroll by most of the time, unless you can pull in and do a good job of it. So don't inundate us with a gazillion ads. Like, nobody likes that. You don't like that. We don't like that. Doesn't do well for the brand. It's everybody loses when it's too many like that.
Yeah.
Another how much do I know? How do I know how much to charge? Easy for me to say. How much do I know how much to charge? What are your thoughts on that, young Timmy?
It's tough, right? So you use a lot of different kind of data points, how much your followers are and the engagement, how many views per video. I think the most important thing here is to have a conversation about it, right? Talk to the person who's in charge of the brand, talk about what they like, what they've seen value from working with other athletes or other influencers. And then you can kind of craft, okay, maybe you have some specific ideas. Maybe you can work in an appearance, a social post, some other assets. And I think if you are absolutely unclear about everything, you can also just say, hey, what is your budget? Just ask the brand what your budget is. We have a lot of experience. We've talked to a lot of different brands and worked out a lot of these deals. So we have a very good idea of what our athletes are worth and where we want to start. But it's always a negotiable kind of offering when we talk to a brand.
Yeah. And so, like, obviously there's some people that are going to be super low, some people that'll be super high. And even when you go to them and you ask the brand, like, what budget are you working with? They might be like, I don't know. But we always try to push back on that. And then again, we try to use what we've done with other athletes. And if we've not done anything with this particular athlete yet, and try to gauge, all right, this is what we would be cool with. This would be the minimum we would do it for. We're definitely going to go over that. But, and then also sometimes if they come lower than what we had, well, maybe we could do more long-term or longer than we've discussed. And that helps us still get a number high enough. So that's
correct. And I don't know if I'm freezing or you're freezing. Do you hear me? Did you hear me? Are you frozen?
Yeah, I think I'm having a Wi-Fi issue.
I think you are. You kind of froze like 2 or 3 times there in the last minute or so, but all good.
Great.
Yeah. I would just piggyback off of that is like, if a brand comes to you and, you're used to getting paid more, let's just use a flat fee of like $1,000. And they say, hey, we've got $750 and you normally are in the thousands, right? You could say, okay, let's build onto this 750 out. Instead of that one post for 750, let's do 3 posts and I'll do it for $2,500 or, that's something like that. So you get to a price point that you like, and now you're kind of all happy-ish, right? As long as the project goes well.
Yeah, that number probably didn't add up. 750 times 3 would be like, what was that? 22.
20, well, whatever. Okay, so 2,000 or whatever. So it's discounted rate for them, but you still get the 2,000. You're frozen, so I win that battle anyways.
You got me now or no?
Yeah.
I go 3 hours. I'm there 2.5 hours. I'm totally good. And then all of a sudden, this damn Wi-Fi. Anyway, all right. I'm good still.
Yep.
Cool. All right. A couple other ones that I got from IG. And again, if there's any others in the chat box, feel free to throw our way. What are some ways I can use my school to help grow? I would say couple things is you've got most people have the team account has more followers than you, the athletic department account has more followers than you, the school in general account has more followers than you. So even just base level, like maybe do a takeover. Hey, it's first day of camp, can I do a takeover? The team account maybe won't do it that day, but maybe the athletic department wants to do one, and so you find out who runs that account or the school account. There's also the alumni associations and And then taking it to another level, like that's like step one is eyeballs and whatnot. Then what you could do is leveraging the school to grow, like if that's not just following, but grow business, is like lots that jump out. What else you got, Sam? Did I freeze again?
You froze again. Yes. And it looks like you froze again. I don't have anything else to add on that. I like the collabs feature on Instagram. You obviously have the content. I would use not maybe this is one that I haven't seen a ton of. You see a little bit of it, but the cross sport partnerships type of thing. So like go collab, do a takeover. If it's a football athlete and you got really cool content leading up to a game, say, hey, basketball, women's basketball, gymnastics, I want to take over your account and do that cross promotion and show you behind the scenes day in the life of a football athlete. So I think that would be kind of cool content coming up here to school season as well.
Yeah, I like that. We've seen some athletes do some things. Michaela, I don't know if I told you this. Talking to Michaela, who we work with, is going to be doing some cross sport stuff with a football player. We had Hunter at Utah State. It was like 7 football players versus 7 women's soccer players in a shootout. So that's not exactly what you're talking about, a takeover of their accounts, but like collabing with other athletes at the school, I think fits the question. I don't know exactly where the question was.
The way you're frozen right now is pure gold. And we'll sit and wait. So unfortunately, Pat's got all the questions. So here we go. I think he's coming unpaused here. Oh, and he's out. Now I'm the only host. So that's cool. Let me pause the recording here. Welcome back.
All right. I don't know where it cut off there.
I don't know where it cut off either.
Bro, how often are we on damn calls like this? I'm on here all the damn time. And now today. Anyway.
Yeah, I think the only other big time cutout was that one time we were talking to the school and you had to go like to the rooftop on your phone or something.
Well, that's because we had power went out.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway. So another question I had, when is a good time to post? I don't know if it depends. I mean, IG is great in the fact that it gives you insights. So like you can go on to IG, go on to your, can you see that okay? That little hamburger looking thing up there. Go into insights and you get an idea of basically good data on what you want to be doing, when, who your following is. Like, so I go to my insights. This is today. So Wednesdays, I have, that's how many the people that follow me are on mostly from 12 to 6-ish. There's a huge dip after 9. If I had to post from 12 to 3 a.m., like, a very small percentage around. So that's a good indicator sometimes on when to post. I always just say this too, is like, when are you on? The people that follow you are a lot like you, especially when we're talking college athletes. When are you on? When are your breaks? When are your times? It's usually like early and late. And then if there's, a lunchish time, like a middle of the day time, I think it's becoming less important. Don't post in the wee hours. And outside of that, like, probably do it during those times where you would be on. Anything else to add to that? All right.
Nope.
I don't have any other questions, any other things that you've been asked that you want to address on here that makes sense before my Wi-Fi cuts out again?
No. I think we covered all the questions.
Cool. All right, good. Well, appreciate anybody else, any other questions here. Appreciate everyone joining us here for the last 3 hours for our NIL workshop. Hope this helps a ton. If it helps one person on one thing, like that's probably worth it for us anyway. But hopefully it helps some people. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to us directly.